Welcome to Broke Ass to Badass, where heart-led entrepreneurs learn to build the businesses and lives of their dreams with confidence, ease, and joy. This is the anti-hustle movement, and we're your coaches in badassery, Kimi and Pua.
Find out more at bledigital.com, and wherever you're listening to this, be sure to click subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Hey, 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 Merry Christmas to you. I guess I should say ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas if you are listening to this episode on Christmas. As you know, this month we're sharing our top episodes of 2018, and we have the best present ever for you today. This is an interview that we did with Chris Burns, high energy, heart-led coach Chris Burns. And this was one of our top most downloaded episodes of this past year, and we just love this conversation. Chris coaches entrepreneurs and leaders to overcome obstacles, eliminate self-sabotage, and get into flow so they can build better businesses and make a bigger impact. He has spoken at more than 90 live events across the United States, and in the last year, Chris has interviewed hundreds and hundreds of inspirational role models, influencers, and leaders on his weekly 12-hour straight live stream marathon and podcast called Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. This episode is going to have you so fired up and ready to make today your best day ever and really make it the best life ever in 2019 and beyond. So enjoy this episode with Chris and get ready to become your greatest possible self. Let's just kick things off by having you share in your words, who are you and how do you serve this world?
Cool. I love this question. And it's way better than the standard, what do you do question that I think a lot of people are so programmed unconsciously to ask. And who are you? It allows us to go deep. So who I am as a person, as a soul in the world is someone who ignites possibility and power in everyone who I come across. I really create the vision of who people can be, their greatest possible self, because they're around me. And that's what my brand is all about, becoming your greatest possible self. I have a 12-hour personal development live stream marathon every week and podcast that I release and interview experts, role models, leaders, people changing the world, influencers, all that good stuff. So I love doing that. I love pushing myself to the limits and being the demonstration, being the leader who does rather than talks about it. I'm an action kind of guy, very driven, very passionate, and that 12-hour marathon is the kind of publicity stunt that I created about a little over a year ago. We've done 51 of these 12-hour marathons, interviewed over 250 people, and it's just been so much fun ever since. And that is my fun project, and it also feeds my Burn It Up coaching company, where we help people learn the ABCs of personal development, accountability, breakthrough, courage and confidence, determination, and energy. And it's a lot of fun because we help people become their greatest possible self by teaching them the basics, the fundamentals, and make it simple to do.
Damn. That's so awesome. Like what I just love about you is you are 100% yourself 100% of the time, and unapologetically so, right? Like, you know your service, you know what lights you up. I love that you call your 12-hour marathon a publicity stunt, because it's not negative. It's like a freaking badass thing that brings you a lot of exposure and serves a lot of people and is a lead funnel for your paid service. And I just think it's beautiful how transparent you are about it. And it really helps people to know, like, and trust you right off the bat. It's so epic.
Yeah,
high five, dude.
Like, if you want to see someone in their most vulnerable, it's like get them in that reality TV kind of recording when they're in their home cooking, or when they're in their home reading or doing their daily routine or whatever it might be. You get to see them behind the scenes. And while I don't have a reality TV show yet,
you kind of do.
I do have, I know, right? I do have the 12-hour marathon, which is me on camera for 12 hours. And let me tell you, when you're on 12 hours of camera straight, you have no other choice but to be yourself, because to be anything else would be such an exhausting challenge that I don't even want to think about that. It's just me. Like, I just show up and, hey, I'm going to give everything I got, make this fun, and go all the way, baby, every time.
I've been asking Kimmy this ever since this interview was booked. I'm like, I need to know how on earth Chris does this, because it is like mind blowing. Thinking about doing a 12-hour anything really is just like makes me feel tired. But you're in the zone, you're doing what you love, and I just really want to know, like, why, first of all, what sparked this, and how do you keep your energy levels firing all the way through?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it started off literally as a PR activity, PR stunt last year to promote a webinar. And I had a joint venture partner I was doing this webinar with, and we said, okay, how are we going to get butts in seats? We're doing organic marketing, messaging people, all that kind of stuff. And we wanted to get way, way more. And so we said, let's do a Facebook Live. How long do we want it to be? And interview the guy. How long do we want it to be? 2 hours, 4 hours? Nah, that's too short. 8 hours? That's probably been done before. 12 hours? All right, we're doing it. So it just became this thing that was so much fun, got tons of engagement. I think like 5,000 or something like that total views on the very first one, tons of comments, tons of likes. And we said, we want to do it again. And the very next week we did it. And I was like, cool, this is fun. Let's keep doing it. Let's develop this format. And the very first one was just me and my business partner. We had some people call in, and then we also interviewed the joint venture partner that we were working with. But as time went on, I started getting more and more people who were interested and attracted to the message, to the energy, and everyone who comes on the marathon has so much fun, right? Like, because that's who I am. I'm this childlike energy, and I kick butt, take names too, and deliver the tactics and the serious nitty gritty stuff too. And it's just a really great experience for everyone involved. So people enjoy it and they want to be a part of it.
So fun. Okay, so you take breaks throughout? we're gonna
when
pick
does
your
he
brain.
pee?
Yeah, so every 4 hours right now, Facebook only allows you to record 4 hours at a time on a live stream. So I take a 5-minute break, jump off, use the restroom, hopefully get out and get some air. Sometimes not, depending on how tight the last interview and the next interview is. But yeah, you run to the restroom real quick, grab a quick bite to eat, and then jump back in the hot seat.
Wow. Okay, so do you eat in any particular way to fuel your energy for a 12-hour marathon like this?
So typically I'll have something like a little bit of bread in the morning, some grains, some more of that dense kind of carbohydrates, an egg or two, and then some cheese. And that's usually what works well for me. I think everyone's different, and I know shakes would probably be a good option. I have those throughout sometimes. I do protein bars and apples. And other than that, that's pretty much it. I don't try to eat too much during the day, because the more I eat, the more it weighs me down, and the more it's like I have to fight to be present in the conversation. So I just make sure that I don't eat too much and I don't eat too little. It's a very, very fine balance and a very, very fun dance to do.
Yeah, it's almost like mindfulness training too, like of 12 hours where you're pulling your focus towards this other person and back to the present moment constantly. It's really cool.
Yeah, one of the things that I love about it is every time at the end of these 12 hours, my body is exhausted. My body's like, dude, again, really? And my mind and my energy, I feel like I just took a quantum step up in terms of my consciousness, in terms of my awareness, in terms of the wisdom that I've just integrated. I can't even think at the end of the day, but I know that all the conversation, all of the imagine if you're, lifting weights or running on a track or whatever it might be. It's that effort is discipline, is growing a muscle, is strengthening some kind of muscle, whether it's endurance or a physical muscle building. I know that my mind and my ability to create questions and have the conversation flow a certain way and be resourceful to create a certain feeling or a state or an emotion in the audience or the speaker and get that juice out of them. It's like every time I just feel myself growing, and literally I get a 12-hour seminar every single week. I created this 12-hour marathon, and it's my own seminar. I get to learn whatever I want. I get to ask whatever questions I want. I get a one-on-one VIP experience with every single one of these guests, and I'm just so blessed to have created this and attracted it into my life because it's so much fun and serves my needs of growth, and it's also connecting me with world-class people all around the world. And I love that I get to build my network and build these relationships with people and connect and be planting these seeds so early on, because I'm only 26 years old. So I'm excited about the future that I get to create with all these possibilities and all these amazing people that I'm building relationships with now. Like you two, Pooh and Q.
Oh my gosh. You're
amazing.
You're like Neo, and you like plug into the Matrix every Wednesday.
That's
like
right.
that. You're like channeling. That's so epic. We say that too. We're so grateful to have a podcast where, it's like a school that we choose our teachers and we never have to stop learning, which is so beautiful. And I mean, you definitely took that to the next many levels up. We're not quite there yet. We just do one at a time. But it's so epic. And I feel like what makes you so fascinating is you push boundaries all the time. Like Facebook, you are the only person that I know who knows from experience what the limit is on Facebook Lives. Right? Like, and you're I'm sure like you reach out to guests who are, it's like it pushes your edge, right? Are you comfortable reaching out to this person? Why am I not? Right? Like it's that constant putting yourself out of your comfort zone to be a leader to others so that they can feel comfortable with the uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, one of the best growths for me has been I have invited people onto the show before and they said yes, and then they didn't get around to it. And the old me would have been super justified and righteous and been like, well, I already extended the invite and they said, yeah, they got all the information that they need. Go ahead and freaking schedule. Oh, you don't want to come on? Fine, screw you. And now I get to be the person like, oh, wait. They're living life and they're probably got a million things on their table. Like, let's go remind them. Do I want them on my show? How determined am I? Do I care what they think about me if I ask twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times? Heck no. It's because I know that there's value in that relationship. There's value in persistence. And I would appreciate it if someone did that for me, if they really wanted me on their show versus giving up if I didn't get back to them right away. Because life can be crazy sometimes. So that was a huge lesson.
Wow. So curious, what does the rest of your week look like? You have this really long, incredible day on Wednesdays. And so, yeah, what do the days surrounding that look like and feel like?
Yeah. So it's really been such an amazing journey for me because going from an electrical engineering degree, I was very intellectual. And I also came from a video gaming background where I was super shy, didn't know how to communicate with people, didn't know what the heck I was doing. My best friend had to ask out my girlfriend for me, my very first girlfriend for me, because I didn't have the courage to ask her out. And so he texted her and asked her for me, which was awesome.
That's a good friend.
Right. And I just really, coming from that place to where I am now, I'm so grateful that I'm creating all these structures and processes of business, of having a successful business. Because one thing that I know is when I create massive value for other people through processes, through systems, then I'm able to really serve the world, number one, but also I will get rewarded. I will be delivered prosperity and abundance. So anyone who's listening right now, if you feel like you're not getting the prosperity or the wealth or the riches or whatever it is that you want, take a look at your mindset. That's the first place to look, is are you really lined up to receive it? Because if that's off, then you're not ever going to do it, no matter what your processes or systems are. You always keep like shooting yourself in the foot and self-sabotaging. And that's what we work with our clients at Burn It Up Coaching, is really changing that story, changing that programming so that you can be more successful. But the other thing is, if you have the systems for consistency, do you have those systems in place? Because most entrepreneurs are just freaking winging it, whether it's their life, their habits, their whatever, their relationships. It doesn't matter if it's that area or if it's actually the business and just winging it, taking it day by day, then it's gonna come tumbling down. The foundation is everything, and having that strong, repeatable process allows you to step back and delegate that out to someone else. So what the rest of the week looks like for me is really working with my team on getting all the content that's produced for the 12-hour marathon. I have up to 9 interviews every week, and we got to put that out onto a podcast. We got to put it out onto YouTube. We got to create a blog post. We got to, just create a lot of content and manage that. And it's been a real challenge, and I'm grateful for my team. I'm grateful for the processes that we have. But really the main thing right now is continuing to feed that content out as close to daily as possible. Like, we're still challenged with that. We're still challenged with having that consistency and getting it all out on time and all that good stuff. But, it's a growing process, and I know people will see the energy and the intention and the effort and want to help, want to raise their hand and see how they can support after enough consistency. I know I got a message today from a network host, and he just wanted to encourage me and congratulate me for all the great work that I'm doing, great content that I'm putting out there. It's inspiring him and his wife. And I said, awesome. That's really great that I can be that inspiration, even when I don't feel like everything's running as smoothly as it could. So the rest of the week is definitely that content curation. That's a huge part of any expert business. If you want to be an expert, whether you're a coach, service provider, author, speaker, whatever, right? Cryptocurrency person, having that content to continue to educate and build a relationship with people and get them into your network, build the trust, build the rapport, and have them want to have another conversation with you, and a real conversation in person, or move down your funnel, buy your products. That's super critical. So that's the biggest thing. And then also the strategy sessions, having calls and conversations with people, whether it's like an official, hey, you came to my website and you want to find out more about burn up coaching and becoming your greatest possible self and our coaching methodology here. That's one way. And I also love to reach out. I love to add value and be of service to people, and just see what problems I can solve, be of service. And that's one of the best things that you can do. When you help enough people get what they want, you can have anything that you want, as Zig Ziglar says.
Holy smokes. It was such an epic answer, because it could have been like, well, on Wednesdays I do this, on Thursdays I do this, right? And you peppered that with so much value. Like, oh my gosh, I have so many questions. But I'm like, the one that's burning inside of me, and the one that I think our audience is going to be really curious to hear a little bit more about, is really talking about that wealth and circulation that you mentioned, because our audience is typically entrepreneurs or aspiring business owners who may either just be starting out or may kind of be recovering or kind of navigating the muck of being an entrepreneur, providing and creating your own wealth, your own abundance, and many service-minded and service-hearted people who are maybe struggling a little bit with knowing their value and charging their value, and not wanting to give things away for free and all of that. So I would love to just hear your thoughts on, what would you share with someone who's going through the muck a little bit, and they know what they want in their heart. They know why they are here. They know how they want to serve, but they're still kind of struggling with that financial aspect of being a business owner.
Okay. Well, there's a couple things that I would look at. Number one is, are you clear on your price point? And if you're clear on your price point, do you constantly adjust that? Do you lower that? One of the things that I've done is I've told my coaches what my price point is, and then they hold me accountable to offering that. And every time I went under that, they would say, why did you do that? What's at the source of that? What caused you to lower your prices? What were you thinking about? What did you want them to think about you? What were you afraid about? So that's one thing, is when you set your price point, do you stick to that? Do you know what you're supposed to be charging for your ideal life that you're creating? Maybe it's 10 clients at $1,000 a month, or whatever the number is. What is that ideal life, and what would it take to get there? You got to be clear on that. You got to, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs who love the feeling of being of service, and there's also the business aspect of it. You're running a business. This isn't a charity. It's not a project. It's a business, and there's specific processes and numbers and targets and metrics that whether your business is succeeding or failing, whether it's growing or dying, whether it's rising to its greatest possible business self or going into the trash, right? Whether you're running yourself into the ground. So number one is I would be clear on what it is that you're charging, and then have a support structure to make sure that you charge that every time. And if you find yourself deviating from that, ask for help. Ask for help from Kimmy or Pua or myself, whoever is around you who you respect, a mentor, a teacher, a leader, someone who is not your family, is not your friends, who will coddle you when you don't do what you said you were going to do, but will kick your butt and say, what's at the source of that? Let's dig in. Let's get to the source of those beliefs, which brings me right into my next area that would cause financial challenge. For me, by the way, just a precursor, for me, I invested, I want to say $50,000 in my personal development in the last probably 5 years or so. And it was a real struggle for me because I invested so much money, but I didn't see that return on investment right away. But if you ask me, I'm one of the most positioned. I'm one of the most positioned people in the industry because of how much I invested and believed in myself and worked and worked and worked, and also took care of myself, self-care, nurturing, the mindfulness, the meditation. Like really just taking care of myself is so important as a part of that drive and investment. So remember that you only have one body, one vehicle, take care of it for your entire life, but really choose to invest in yourself. I invest in myself, and that's why I can charge the prices that I do for my clients in VIP breakthrough days, is because I have invested that amount of money in myself. So that's number one, is what are you investing in yourself? And if you don't have the money, quote unquote, that's an excuse, because leaders, it's not about the resources. It's about how resourceful you are. If you don't have the money in your bank account, who does? If you don't know anyone who has the money in their bank account, go out and meet some people. Make it your mission to get connected with the possibility, get lined up with, maybe I don't have to do this all on my own. Because when you have that mindset of I need to do it all on my own, you're going to live in scarcity, probably anywhere between 100 and 1,000 times more, maybe even more than that, I don't know, than someone else who is living in more of a group mentality, a community mentality. I have people who I can come to with these challenges. I have people who I can come to and bounce ideas off of and get solutions. I have people who support me in reaching out to people who I'm afraid to reach out to. These influencers, these people who might have the money, but I'm afraid to reach out to because I don't know if I'm worthy or valuable enough. So really having that group around you, the support network, Facebook groups, the mastermind, the local Chamber of Commerce, BNI, Toastmasters is pretty low down there, but that's definitely a place to get started. If you want to take a step in the right direction, do that. That's what our philosophy here at Burn It Up Coaching is, take a step in the right direction. You don't have to do a quantum leap, but what's one step that you can do today? What's one habit? Maybe it's journaling, maybe it's reading, maybe it's gratitude, maybe it's affirmations, whatever it is for you, take that one step. So I mentioned about what you charge, know that. I also mentioned about the support that you have, like really make sure you get that support and invest in yourself. And then the last thing is, with circling back to mindset, is what are the programs that are running for you? Because chances are, if you've done things in the past, if you've built a business or it's crashed to the ground or things happen and you're not proud of it, there's going to be some shame and there's going to be some guilt, and that residue of that energy is going to keep messing you up. It's going to keep screwing you and screwing you and screwing you until you get clear, until you get it complete. And so really what that takes is processing. It takes digging in. It takes, I'm afraid to talk about this. I'm afraid to talk about my financial situation. Great. Who are you going to go talk to about your fears of being afraid of your financial situation, and you're afraid of earning more money, or you can't figure out why you're not earning more money, or you can't figure out why you're not in the house of your dreams yet. You're stuck. You're overwhelmed. You're anxious. You have all this negative energy. Who are you going to talk to to start uncovering that. Because it's when we do it on our own, it's so difficult to see the blind spots that are stopping us. So those would be my recommendations: is know what you charge, get the support you need, invest in yourself, go all the freaking way, and then also is figure out what those unconscious patterns are, and be vicious in how you attack and release. It doesn't necessarily have to be like controlling. It could be vicious in how you surrender those beliefs and let them go. Maybe it's you've been holding on so tight trying to control your life for so long, and now it's finally time to just say, all right, my life is what it is. Maybe that's what you've been doing. You've been resisting what is, and it's time to just say surrender, and not surrender and give up as in quit, but surrender needing to be somewhere else. I know for me, because I'm 26 years old, and thank you, by the way, Kimmy and Pua, for letting me ramble, because I'm talking a lot. Thank you.
We love it. Keep going.
Epic.
For me, it's like when I was younger, I always felt like I needed to prove something, because like I don't have the experience, I don't have the track record, I don't have the time, the money, whatever, right? And so I always felt like I needed to prove something. And so I finally let go of that needing to control and needing to make it be somewhere where I'm not. Like I was always putting myself into the future, like, oh my God, the future is going to be so awesome when I'm traveling the world and speaking and doing all these things. And it's like, yes, the future is going to be amazing, but it was robbing me of the present moment. And I wasn't able to connect with friends and family. I didn't value them. I was so quick to cut my relationships and just move on to the next one, because I was like, I want to get to my future. I want to get to my future. I want to get to my future. And so I really encourage all of our listeners to simply say how grateful I am for exactly what is and exactly what isn't. The state of my body, exactly how it is, exactly how it isn't. The state of my finances, I am so grateful for. If you have debt, all of my debt, exactly how it is in my bank account, and exactly what I don't have in my bank account. I'm grateful for my business. It's like this startup business, and I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. I'm grateful that my business is where it is and it isn't where it isn't. And it's perfect. Now what? Now what? Now that I have some freedom, now that I have some space to create, to grow, to move forward, what can I do? What are my actions that I can take? Who can I talk to? How can I write down my list of priorities and be clear on that, versus having all this anxiety and stress and overwhelm and feeling like no matter what I do, it's useless anyways. So give yourself that power back, give yourself the opportunity to succeed, and just surrender to where you are right now, and all the possibilities will come to you.
Wow. That was an amazing answer. And you, sir, are a badass. Holy moly. Wow, there was so much there, and it's just so beautiful. And I really I remember hearing once that I think it was Vishen Lakhiani that was talking about the ideal state of flow in your life. And it's where you have this peace with the past, this radical acceptance of the present, and this clear vision of the future. And I really feel like that's what you emulate and share about and talk about, is just that, like, okay, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to go. And it is a dance, as you said earlier, right? It's that beautiful dance. And wow. So we just want to high five you and hug you because you're speaking our language. And I want to also really acknowledge you for bringing back, like, to me, I think I heard on a podcast that you were on once, and you talked about the power of having just conversations with people. And that's what you do for 12 hours on Wednesdays. And it's what you do, it sounds like, in the rest of your week. It's what you're doing right here. And it's like going back to these real, juicy, delicious, raw, human interactions that I think we're all so hungry for in this day and age. And so, yeah, just wanting to acknowledge you for leaning into that and bringing that back and celebrating that in our lives, because that is really where the magic happens. And it's so easy as entrepreneurs and just as humans living in this modern day to hide behind our computers and kind of type away and pretend and feel like we're engaging with the world when it's a really surface interaction. So we're so grateful to be able to have this deep conversation where you're so open and willing to share so much value. So thank you.
Real quick.
Yes.
Thank you, Kimmy. I received that acknowledgement. Thank you. And I want to speak to that because one of the ways that I set myself apart in the beginning was stepping up to be a host or a leader of different communities. So I started in Toastmasters as one of my places where I started defining myself as who I am and how I show up in the world, rather than a gamer who just sat in my room and I didn't care about anyone, and I didn't have a care in the world. I was so irresponsible. Like, someone else's problems, catch me trying to care about that. No way. So it was just my opportunity to step up into a leadership position, and I became the secretary. So I was taking notes, and then the vice president of education, where I was scheduling people and kind of running the club a little bit more, and then the president of the club. And I did that over a course of 2 years. Every 6 months there was a new term, and I got to upgrade my position and my standing in the club. And I just learned so fast that the more responsibility I take on in a community, the faster I will grow, the more skills I will learn, the more people will see me as an authority. So I said, okay, I am going to start being the host of these communities. I'm going to start being the leader of my own groups, my own tribes. And it's so easy to get started with that these days, with Facebook groups, with being an organizer of a mastermind, get top people in your industry together, be a host, interview people. It's so easy to get started. And I get that it's simple to get started, maybe not easy. A lot of people might be afraid of it, but the simplicity in which you can set yourself apart from your peers by taking that leap, by being willing to put yourself out front, by being willing to, I don't want to make it seem bad, but like, take the hits, take the arrows, take people's possible rejection or criticism. Put yourself out there at an even higher level. Host your own events, host your webinars, host your trainings, do the Facebook Lives. Put yourself out there even more, and then you will get rewarded. It's through that courageous act of being seen as a leader over and over and over and over and over and over again for years and decades that you will really just catapult yourself to success. So that's one thing I want to speak to is step up as a leader. Step up in whatever community that you're a part of. Maybe you're already a part of somebody else's community that you really value and you love how they do things. Ask how you can support them. Ask if you can assist. Ask if you can volunteer. Ask if you can take on a paid position. What paid work do they need? Really just step up in your leadership so that you can live your best life ever and be a badass and be your greatest possible self.
Love it.
That's so amazing. And I think it's so valuable for people to hear that, success, quote unquote success, right? And this, being a perceived leader and being a thought leader and someone who is creating change in the world doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by chance, and it doesn't happen right away. Like it's years of it's fun work, but it's work, right? It's really being intentional and taking the actions that take you from wanting to do something to doing something. And I feel like that's a place where so many people get stuck in that fear of like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Who am I to do this? Who am I to do that? And instead, rather than letting your mind go there, because that's a really small place, you feel small when you're in that place, right? Like, there's such a big world out there, and I have nothing to provide to anybody, versus, hey, someday I would love to be doing this. So today I'm going to take this little action or this big action, but today I'm going to take an action to get there. And, we talk a little bit about that with our clients as well, but I think you're such a beautiful example of taking action every day. And perhaps, the actions that you took at first weren't as massive as the ones that you're taking now, but it's building that muscle, right?
Yes. And awesome. What you said that I heard is that everyone who's listening to this, like, there's someone in your life, or a potential someone, maybe not yet, but there is always someone in your life that you make the difference for. Like, the difference. Like, you make their day, you save them from suicide, you help them get through their trauma, you give them hope. Like, you make the difference. Even if you're just holding a door open for someone, that opportunity to be of service, to show people that there's still good people left in the world, like, could give someone hope. So you never know. And it doesn't matter the size of the action. Size of the action, and comparing that, saying that, oh, Chris has this 12-hour marathon and all I can do is hold open a door. Like, that's ego. Kick that shit to the curb and say, I don't need none of that. And say, what I can do is what I can do. And I am enough. And this one act of kindness in this moment, since this moment is everything, this is all we have. We don't have 1 second ago. We are not promised 1 second from now. This moment is all we have. So go the extra mile and be that person who makes the difference. Be that person who takes a little bit longer to hold the door open, or to write someone a text in the morning saying, I really appreciate you and I'm so grateful to have you in my life. Be that person who calls up the friend who you haven't talked to in a day, a week, 3 months, 3 years, whatever. Be that person who goes the extra mile to make people feel special. And you'll have so many more people making you feel special back and making the difference in your life.
Oh, so beautiful. Love it. Wow. Well, we could talk to you forever, but before we turn this into a 12-hour marathon, can you share with our audience maybe what you're most excited about and where people can find out more about you? And what are you working on right now that we can follow and find out more about?
It's a great question. I'm going to plant some seeds that maybe aren't yet actionable, but I'm really excited about this upcoming event we got happening next year. It's going to be called Inspire Greatness, that's what we've titled it so far, and seems to be sticking. But it's going to be an event where we have celebrities and amazing experts, household names, and people who are just changing the world and inspiring greatness, thinking big to outgrow their problems. And we're super excited about the lineup that we got. We got a whole master plan, like building a rocket to get to the moon status. Like, it's that in depth, that intricate. So everyone be on the lookout for that. It's going to be an amazing event, most likely in Southern California, San Diego, or Las Vegas. We're still deciding on the location, but that's going to be super exciting and just really a rocket launch out. You want to talk about 12-hour marathon and thinking big and playing big. That's going to be a big action. Like, from Chris Burns to who I am today to when this event finishes, it's definitely a quantum leap, and I'm super excited about it. So that's number one. The second is the 12-hour marathon, Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. You can always find me on that, and I'm pretty consistent with every week on Wednesday. Some weeks I'm not there. Like these next two Wednesdays, I think, or next Wednesday, I'm not going to be there because I'm going to be at the 10-day silent meditation retreat. So actually, it's two Wednesdays. So just about every Wednesday, 12-hour marathon. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/TH3Burns. I do it from my personal page because it's a lot of fun. And I also have the podcast episodes of the people who come on, and the video and the show notes and all that kind of stuff on beyourgps.com. So that's beyourgps.com. Pretty straightforward. You can go there, check out more of the episodes, subscribe on iTunes, all that good stuff. So those are the things right now. But something I'm really excited about that I haven't mentioned too much about, I used to be this total gamer, right? Total video gamer. And I was really resentful of that period of time in my life because I felt like it hurt me. It crippled me. It made me an introvert. It made me suck at communication. It made me not succeed in business and have my, financial matters very solid for a long time. I was like very resentful of that period of time. And so I've really just been integrating that childhood Chris and what drove me, what pushed me, what inspired me, what had me stay up, 12 hours straight playing video games just about every night. What was it? What was that drive? What was that essence? Who was I being and having fun and playing? And I'm bringing more of that aspect and those elements back to my life and to my coaching. So gamifying high performance, gamifying growing your business, being an expert, and becoming your greatest possible self. So that's going to be something that's super exciting. That's going to really separate me even more from the competition and have me stand out. Not competition. I don't want to say that, but it's going to have me really differentiate myself from everyone else in the marketplace. They're not my competition. They're my collaboration. We can learn from each other. It's lots of fun. And it's going to allow me to really grow and level up myself, because I'm going to have this amazing system that I get to teach people around me. We're going to get community driven behind it, driven events, driven like collaboration. And there is going to be some competition in that, playing to win and win prizes and all kinds of cool stuff like that as people upgrade themselves, their character, their life character. I'm constantly upgrading myself, my character, and also their businesses. So that's something else that's super exciting. And then in the 10, 15 years in the future, I'm going to be developing an augmented reality personal development device that helps people make better choices and is integrated into reality. And you'll be seeing more of that too. So keep watching. Chris Burns.
Wow.
Dang.
That's awesome. We definitely can't wait to see how all of these things take shape and take form, and let us know so we can help you promote them. And we just want to say thank you so much for sharing with our audience and dropping some super epic knowledge on our tribe here today. So we're super grateful for your time. And do you have any final thoughts or closing thoughts for us today?
I love you all, and thank you for showing up. Thank you for not giving up. And thank you for taking one step at a time and trusting yourself and trusting life to have your back.
You are awesome. Thank you for this time. We are so grateful. We're so happy to be connected.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's the best day ever. Make it a good one. The best one. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Chris.
As always, we can continue the conversation in our tribe on Facebook. You can get there by going to bledigital.com/tribe. Come and say hi. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Come say hi to Chris and make sure you tag him and let him know that you heard him on our podcast. And remember, as you're getting ready for this new year, to grab a copy of our free weekly planner for badass entrepreneurs. This is the very system that we use to help us to stay in alignment week after week. This is the perfect time to set some intention for the new year and whatever it is that you'd like to create. We are here to support you. You can go to bledigital.com/badass to grab that digital planner. And we can't wait to hear how you're using this planner, how it's working for you. So take a screenshot, tag us, and let us know if you have any questions. We're here to support you, and we'll be back next week.